The floor is yours, my dear.
Okay, thank you. Hello, it's really great to share this one story that was one of the most impactful moments in my life. Um, I don't know, you have a moment that you almost can pull up in your memory, and I'm just so grateful that it's a good one because before this happened to me on May 5th, 2009, I had sad stories that would come up into my memory and would alter my feeling about the world. And I call it victim mentality. So the title of my story is Birthing the Child Within. Um, What would it be like if your parents just adored you? They loved you so much when they strolled you down the street as a little baby. They practically stopped people and said, "Look at our little girl. Look at our little girl." And your mother, who was 51 years older than me, was dressing me in matching outfits when I was 5 or 6 years old. The story is that my birth mom at 39 years old, she got pregnant, and her 25-year-old boyfriend told her he was not ready to get married. So they talked about abortion and they couldn't live with themselves, so they decided on adoption. So my mother carried me in her tummy for 9 months and gave me away immediately at the hospital. I spent a few weeks at the hospital and then a few months in foster care. So on December 6, 1963, they finalized the adoption, and my two adopted parents brought me home to two brothers, 5 and 15 years old. And I'm telling you, I have black and white photos, and they were not happy. They're like, because here, my parents are like always holding me, coddling me, oogling over me. So I did have a little trauma as a baby because my parents would go out, and they would leave me with my 16, 17-year-old brother, and they would lock me in a room just to cry, like cry and cry. I remember crying for so long till my parents came.
Oy.
So a little bit of trauma, but for some reason, I was an optimistic, really happy child, but I was also really contemplative. And, I didn't know at the time, but my mom was really depressed. She had a hysterectomy after losing three miscarried babies. So that's why I was gifted to them. But I had low self-esteem, a lot of self-doubt, and I was raised by the Queen of Martyrs. And it should have been on her tombstone. So I feel like I had like a split personality. There were, in front of people I could be happy and bubbly, but if their energy was weird, I would be like sad and timid and shy. So I was kind of all over the place emotionally. But my grandma passed away. She lived on a farm, and I loved to go visit her. And I went to her funeral, which was a couple days away. We drove, and I was in the funeral home, and I remember her hands and the rosary wrapped around her hands, and we all sat down and we were saying prayers and singing, and I felt so connected to her. And all of a sudden I let out this huge sob, like and I guess it was heard over, but all of my aunts and uncles, I just saw like the whole room just turn to stare at me. And I just felt so shocked. And then I never cried in public after that. So it was
Wow.
like, that was like such a shocking moment for me. So I kept my emotions in starting. So lots of trauma, adolescence, bad marriage, all this stuff. I'm like sucking it in. Don't show people your emotions. They're going to make fun of you. So I kind of went on with my life with that. And I kind of kept building and building. So in 1998, my papa, he passed away, and I was so lucky I was able to be by his bedside for about 15 hours alone. And I um, sent him on his way, and I felt him exit the room. I felt a loving presence, and it was so
Oh,
peaceful and loving. And then in 2004, I had the same experience. I was my mom's hospice nurse, and I was sleeping on the couch in the other room, and I felt, I actually heard no more rasping because my mom was dying from leukemia and
mm,
Parkinson's. And so she was on her death rasp. And it was about 6 a.m. and I heard no more. And I jumped up, and pure joy when I went to her bed and I saw that she had taken her last breath. It was like Christmas morning. I was so excited. I grabbed her hands and I said, "Mom, you did it. You did it. I'm so proud of you.
oh,
You're with all of your family." She was Polish. They love to dance. Like,
oh,
just watching her wither down to 85 pounds was
mm,
just so traumatizing for me. So I felt like I allowed my parents to go on with their new life wherever they are. And then I I was just trying to put my life together because I had left everything to take care of my mom, and I was driving to get a prescription in a parking lot, and this big, huge white whale. It was a Tahoe, just this huge, one of the biggest Tahoes you've ever seen, came barreling across. I didn't see it, but it slams into me and spins me in the parking lot. I left tread marks there. It was crazy. I tried to get out, and when I went to step out, I couldn't stand on my knee. I actually tore the knee. So that was really traumatizing because now I'm trying to put my life back together, but I basically am injured. I have no vehicle. I'm trying to finish biology degree at UC Dominguez Hills, and just trying to put my whole life back together. And all of a sudden, I'm actually crippled. So that was like this crazy moment. And for 3 years, I don't know why, but God said, "You are going to get the most idiotic, stupid, ignorant lawyer that is on the planet. And you are not going to be able to let him go. He's going to be like this clingy, ugly thing, and he's going to be an idiot, and he's a drug addict." So for 3 years, I went through this traumatic experience going through
mm,
the insurance company, got no settlement. Um, I woke up one morning just after I was like, that was all over. I said, I'm leaving that all behind. I woke up in my bed and I started to wail like you do at the wailing wall. Just that big old wail. And I woke my boyfriend up, and we're in a 600 square foot apartment, and he's like, "Mary, what's wrong?" And I said, "I hate my life. I don't want to be here. I was being attacked in my dream. They were holding me down, these horrible monsters, and they were suffocating me, and I don't want to be there. I don't want to be here anymore." And so he's like, "Oh, okay." He was kind of shocked, but I after that dream happened, I said, "I've got to change my life. I've got to do something different." So I left the relationship. I started swimming in the ocean, which was so healing. When you go in the water, no matter how cold it is, you have no gravity and no pain in your
mm,
body. Like, it just slips away. So I started to swim, and I got myself a 1995 van. It was a Westphalia, and it was a German car, first time driving, and it was like smooth as butter. And I drove myself all the way up to Vancouver Island, got on that ferry, and I basically didn't want to like talk to people for like 2 weeks at vacation. I just wanted to get away. And so I fell asleep at this campground. It was the most peaceful place. There was a green forest all around me and this beautiful lake and the white puffy clouds and
Mm.
snowy mountains in the background. And I was like, this is gorgeous where I am. I fell asleep and woke up, and the sun was rising, and there was birds and beautiful sounds, and the lake was completely just a reflection of the other side. It was gorgeous. And
Wow.
so since I didn't have to go to work, I went back and I kind of fell into like a little daydream sleep. And I woke up with a start and I sat up and I started to have that shuddering feeling. And I just started sobbing, the
Mm.
same kind of like
Mm.
sobbing, wailing. Oh! And it was happiness. It was
Wow.
joy. It was so wonderful. I had this dream where I was spooning with my husband in the bed and nursing this beautiful baby girl. She was just like a china doll in my arms. And I looked into her eyes and I realized this baby girl is me. This is me right here I'm looking at. And it just completely changed the way that I felt about myself. And I cradled her in my arms and I looked at all her features, and she was so familiar to me. I said, this is my chance. I just read Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and the inner child work. And I said, this is my chance. I'm going to have a new little baby. I am going to take care, protect her, love her,
Mm.
cherish her,
Mm.
and give her this perfect life, and build her up to be balanced, loving, prosperous, have a safe shelter, and give her meaningful work. I'm not going to allow other people to tell me what to do. This child, she housed my soul, and
Mm.
I was going to be the best parent because I knew better than anyone what her needs were and what she felt about the world. And so, experience the whole lifetime experience, but bringing it into this little baby girl and me being her parent, it would just completely transform my life. I all of a sudden, like I felt like I was walking on golden stones that just led me to all the right, beautiful, loving, peaceful people, peaceful places. And I started to make really healthy decisions for myself. So I try to share this story, with people, but it's not very easy because they don't understand about soul work
Mm.
and inner child work and all of the experience, of that. But I wanted to be authentic in the world. I wanted to stop being a people pleaser. I definitely stopped victim mentality. But the funny thing is that happened in 2009. So let's just go, it's been about 15 years. And I have been through the dark night of the soul. I'm not going to go into it because it's crazy, but I honestly have been trudging through the darkest shadows of myself. But this year, it's my year. And the best part is that when I raised this child, and, I mean, I've been trying to do a good job. But I realized that it was a selfish thing for me to put all my effort into perfecting this child's upbringing, right?
Mm.
But now I've kind of turned to the world and I said, I want to leave a legacy in this world.
Mm.
And so I ask you, I am on this wonderful ride, and would you like to go with me?
Wow. Yes, we do.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes, we certainly do. That, that is one of the beauties and the joys of realizing that we're not alone and being more visionary than the average person. Like here you are, Mary, telling us like of a lot of hard things but you have found a point of emanation that is like light. It's illuminated. It has love. Like you have so much love in your energetic being, Mary. Like you're just this love being. Here you are last week laying on the floor with your bunny rabbit, right? And
Yeah.
and maybe some of the newer people don't know, Mary has really brought this loving, expansive presence to more than the average person leaving this world, right? And like when you said like that you were able to feel joy when your mother left this world, like what a beautiful thing to know that that's a moment of joy. Like you, instead of
It
being
was
selfish
great.
for yourself, like, so there's something that your soul has always known, I think, about love in its more expanded consciousness place, about love that isn't only about how someone is treating you in the moment. Like that has to be dealt with. It's a thing. But I don't know, Mary, what I felt was just this sense of what does it mean to get back up because you know what love is on a multidimensional level. So I feel like this invitation is like, would you like to enter this realm emanating from love? Like, doesn't
Yes.
that feel like who you are, Mary?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really great. It's you know, it's it's coming deep from within for sure. It is. And it's also emanating out into a world that is so chaotic and crazy. But fortunately, starting meditation in 2009 and really doing a lot of soul work, 50% of the time I'm delving into the spirituality of myself.
Right.
So I feel like I knew early on, 15 years ago, I stopped watching all media.
Yeah.
Social media, I do a little bit, but it has made me who I am in a world where people are addicted to the chaos in the world. And so 15 years, it makes you a different person. So I feel like the trajectory of all of friends and family that are connected to it and stay connected to it, they've gone off on one tangent and then I've gone off on this other tangent, which is kind of it diminishes my pool of population down to like 1% of the population, and they're kind of hard to find, but they're all over the internet now. I mean, is so easy to find. Like this group here
Right.
is a connected soul source of, storytelling and sharing. So we find each other, and fortunately, COVID shut us down, but we found each other even easier, know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd like to go around. I'll just call on people to share a little feedback with you. But really, thank you for sharing so courageously from your heart, so authentically. Do you want to start, Renee Michelle? I see you. No? Do you want to start?
Yeah. Thank you. Mary, oh my gosh. Thank you for allowing us to get to know you better. I know sometimes you join our meetings from your car, from your Uber, but wouldn't Mary just be the most wonderful Uber driver. I would love to get into Mary's Uber. She's just like the perfect person that you want to spend that little chunk of time with. You're a wonderful storyteller. I can just imagine you telling stories in your Uber to these strangers, making their day just from your energy, and you are a very good storyteller. I missed the very first part of it, but what I heard was, you were telling your story and you didn't seem to be nervous at all. Mm. It comes very easy to you. It's coming from a very authentic place in you. It's very obvious that you're very comfortable there. And everybody that listens to you, I'm sure, feels that. I felt that. I felt that just, being in the rooms with you. It's telling me your bunny story. It's just, there's just a warmth about you. It's very, you're very approachable. You're a natural storyteller. Yeah. And you've got such a very beautiful story. And yes, I would like to go along with you on the journey. Happy to be there.
Thanks. Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Renee Michelle. All right, Karen, like to go next?
So ditto to everything that Renee Michelle said. So I felt like you were very fluid in your delivery. You had a good memory, good recall. But all of that is because I felt like you were telling your life story. So when you're telling your life story, you can remember all the details, so, and, obviously you weren't reading. And so I'm saying to myself, how is she doing this? And the reason you're doing it is because you're telling your life story. So you just delivered your life story. So it wasn't strained. And I felt like you delivered it with joy and and no trauma. So there may have been some trauma there, but I didn't feel it. I just felt like you delivered it with such joy, and it was just very fluid to me. So I enjoyed hearing it. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Really good. Leslie.
Well, I'm going to echo again what both Karen and Renee Michelle said. I just think you're a natural storyteller. Really, your energy was just the authenticity, which you mentioned later. It just rang through that, this is a really authentic, genuine person sharing from, I think what Karen just said, from a very grounded, joyous place. And so I just thought the energy was wonderful. Some of the details, let's see, I took some notes. I loved your opening and closing. You set it up that you were going to be sharing one of the most impactful moments of your life. And that right away, I was like, oh, and you kind of did a little foreshadowing that, there's a lot of rough spots, but it's a really great story. So that did kind of pique my interest right away. I love that you set it up that way. I also love the details. I know we've talked in other sessions about bringing us into moments, and you did that in a number of places that I just felt like I was right there with you. The scene, the part with your mom, like that, just it brought me to tears, but the joy in it so I just thought that the way you did that was just absolutely masterful throughout your talk. And then I know you said that this is this is soul work and inner child work, and a lot of people don't care, but I don't think it's a matter of tribe. And I think the universal issue that you're getting at about, self-worth and how do we tap into a whole other way of being, I do think those are really universal issues. And now obviously there'll be certain people that are attracted to kind of your path, but I do think there is a lot of interest, and as you mentioned, on the internet now, it's a lot easier. So in any event, I thought that in your closing was awesome, because that invitation was, it was like, yeah, this is a person who is so authentic and genuine, and has truly the joy and insight that you've gained from your journey resonates, and be like, yeah, I want that too. So wonderful job.
Thanks. Thanks,
Beautiful.
Leslie.
Thanks, Leslie. All right, Paula.
Hi, Mary. I loved your story. I, like the others, I feel your energy and your heartfulness and this deep, deep kindness that comes from on you when you're telling a story. It really, this kindness and love really glows. And it's like it reverberates through your body when you're listening to you talk. So very, very, very beautiful. I thoroughly enjoyed your story. It's so touching and so deeply personal. And you shared some deeper parts and moments in your life that some people will never get to experience, and other people have. So sharing the richness about that and the joy and how that could possibly be, for people that are yet to walk on that bridge, or those who have, and that bridge is gone. I found that the deepness of that really beautiful. And also storytelling. I loved your storytelling and how you tell that. I thought of you being like a Pied Pipess instead of the Pied Piper, the Pied Pipess storyteller, with children, a whole lot of children following you along and sitting down, and you're just sitting around campfires and things like that, telling stories. That was what I imagined you doing. So really beautiful. I loved how you shared your story and opened up your beginning and your middle, and the glories that you've experienced in your life, that you've made for your life, and the little girl that you love and cherish, that is you, that is within you. Very deep and awesome. Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Paula.
Yeah, really good. Okay, Yafa.
I loved your story. I thought it was unexpected. I guess I didn't know what it would be about, but it was so refreshing, and especially that it's such a beautiful adoption story. You don't hear about it as often. I guess maybe because of the people I talk to, I don't hear about, loving stories as often. And like, you took it for what it was, and you made the best of it, like with your brothers. And I mean, you really turned it around. You managed to get the good out of it, and it seems like to have been able to let go of the challenges and maybe work through them so you can let them go. But I really liked it. It was very heartfelt and very well told.
Oh, thank you, Yafa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Janet.
You're muted, hon.
You're still muted, Janet. Just gotta go find the button. There you go.
It didn't show that I was muted.
Well, now you're good. We hear you.
Okay. So, Mary, I think you have the happiest voice of anybody I've ever heard. When you open when you start to talk, there's like this, it's smiling, right? And so I really treasure that about you. And yeah. It's like, how you can see somebody's eyes are smiling, but your whole being does that with your voice. Yeah. So I liked your story. I had no idea that you had all of those injuries. I know you've been dealing with stuff, but I had no idea that you had that, and I did not know you were adopted, but I think it's really amazing how you connect with people, loved ones or not, that are leaving this realm, and that I think that that's a very special gift that you can be and celebrate and help somebody with that transition. I think it's very powerful and very touching.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I agree, Janet. Yeah, beautiful. Nancy.
Mary, I echo and ditto what everybody's been saying. I love what Karen said about your joyful voice. I wrote a big presence, like a big, grounded, joyful presence. And I also felt the energy of charm, delight, grace, and playful. Maybe even impish.
Thank you.
And I love the how comfortable you were with adding voices, like look at my little girl, and the phrase like the Queen of Martyr just gave a nice visual, and you had no problem with even voicing the wailing and the sobbing, and you brought that in instead of telling us about it. You actually brought that in, which is a vulnerable and beautiful. It made it very powerful to hear. I love the background image you put together. It brought me there, and that was your special, time. And that was, I appreciated you being, that we could be there at that time you started changing, to nurture yourself. So, golden stones. I want a path of golden stones. Oh, and the last thing is I loved your share about how joyful it was to be with your departing people, because I had that experience once and it was the same, and I've never really talked to anybody about it. So I could identify with that.
Beautiful. Nice. Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, really good. Denise.
Yes, I enjoyed it. And like everybody else said, I think you've got this amazing personality. You're broadcasting at a high frequency.
Aww.
And I would love to go on a joyride with you anytime.
Awesome.
Like else said, you are a natural storyteller, and I really, really enjoyed your story. And you've come out the other side of that hole, and just a shining light in this world, and that's what we need. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. It's hard to go at the end because everybody else has said all the good stuff.
That was pretty good stuff, Denise.
That's how I feel you. I feel you in my heart, and I think, I would hang out with you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I love your rabbit.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm so, I haven't showed him too much, but yeah, he was my buddy, because my eyes started to feel bad, and so I needed some nurturing.
Nice. Good energy, don't they? Those animals.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Diane, and then Carol, I hope you're about to come on camera, and you'll be our last share. So Diane, and then Carol.
Well, great job, Mary. You just are amazing. I love that two important dreams, really led you to make important decisions. Like the first dream, you were being attacked, and you committed right then and there, no more victim position, from that dream on, and you stuck with it. And then it was just like you had this other dream of, holding your own child in you, and you made a commitment to her for self-development and to take care of yourself and build yourself up. And you did. I mean, you got yourself healthy with food. And I mean, you've told me more of the details in the story and working with you. So I know. And Mary is amazing. She has more stuff happen in her life, and she just figures it out. It's just like, oh my God, Mary, if that was happening to me, I'd need about 10 people working with me. It was just like, that's why you have broad shoulders, because you carry so many people's problems and you get them solved. It's just like you turn adversity into adventure. You solve the problem, and you enjoy it while you're doing it, and it's like a game for you. And I just enjoy listening to all your turnovers in life. They're just beautiful, and you're just amazing. I mean, she's always moving, and if she can't get somebody to help, she's moving that furniture herself. I mean, you get the job done. So I just want to kudos to you. It was beautiful delivery, and I just love being your friend, your soul friend.
Oh, thanks, Diane. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was all like rewritten from when Diane was helping me, but I didn't really rewrite it. I just wanted to tell the story spontaneously. So
Good. But the work that you do to work on it makes a better spontaneous version come out.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like the pre-work does affect, even if you're not reading it. And the step of reading it sometimes is what allows it to get solid enough so that a later step, someone can do it spontaneous. So it showed the work you did and the flow that you allowed yourself. This is good. All right, let's let Carol jump in. She's back on video. We're not hearing you, Carol. It doesn't say you're muted. Oh, wait, I know what I have to do. I have to unmute. I have to ask, you have to unmute the phone part, Carol. You have to unmute. I don't know how to, I muted the phone, the part that looks like the phone. I clicked ask to unmute. I can't actually unmute anymore. So you have to, can you see in your phone how that's, so Carol, here's what you should do then. Just go off, leave the meeting and come back in, and it'll bring you in not muted, okay? And then I'll say a few things and then I'll give you a chance to talk when you come back in. So just leave and we'll see. I'll kick this part out also. I'm going to make this part leave. Give me 1 second. Oh, she did it. Okay. So, okay, good. So she'll be back. To both of her. So, Mary, I really hope, just like for everybody, that you can sort of breathe in a reflection of who you are and what matters to you in the world. Because I think we really felt that. Like we felt what matters to you in this story. You know, like, yes, you might have gone through really hard things, but that's not what matters to you. What matters to you is the light that you find along the way, the love that you contribute along the way. And it's a very significant, what happens is like the way you see things, like Janet, when you told your story about snakes, like you shared with us your change in perspective, like the way you're choosing to see the world. And I think we can look at the stories people have done and see how you're choosing to see the world. And that's such an interesting part of a story, because part of who we are is how we see the world. Like, what's your point of view and what's your perspective, your point of view? And when you tell a story, you want someone to be pulled in and feel this positive connection with the way you see things, right? Because we're like, we want to go with you on that ride. We want to be in this energy because you exuded an expanded energy that feels like, okay, If I need to get my energy more expanded, if I talk to Mary, she's not going to let me off the hook about that. Right? Like, Mary, I have a feeling like you're one of those people where if I try to come in and tell you how everything can't work, you're going to say, excuse me, we could figure this out. Because just like Diane said, you have figured it out and then figured it out and figured it out. So but that's a different perspective than someone else's story and what their strength is. Yeah, Diane.
Carol can't get back in at all, she said.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Oh, tell her sorry. I should have just let her listen and not have to tell her she can try to call. There's a way to call in, actually. But tell her to keep trying and we'll keep going. And, whenever she can get back in, then she can share with Mary later also. Oh, the joys of the internet experience. You know my motto, right? You have to keep trying and keep your sense of humor because there's like always something. Okay, Diane, thank you for being in touch with her. And just Diane, you are good at giving people ideas about how to get back on. So give her as many, whatever ideas you can think of, because you've had to figure out enough. You think how good you've gotten. You guys, I always say, remember to notice your progress. Because it's not that things don't come up, but you can notice how much better you do at getting back up out of it. And even little things like solving weird internet things, if you pay attention, most of you who are not good at it will notice that you are willing to try more times to get it figured out. And that's a significant thing. So Carol, I'm sorry, you might have to be watching this in the replay, and I hope that she'll get it figured out how to come back in. Usually that's a good fix to go out and come back in. But so, all right, we're going to switch modes and go into a guided process. So go ahead and close your eyes and just begin to notice your breath coming in and out. And really allow yourself to feel that shift to stillness and feel a sense of breathing bigger than your physical self. And then allow your awareness to shift to that flow from above and feel your connection to God, to Source, the universe, and feel that pure light from above coming down to the top of your head, filling your whole body, your whole being with light, love, healing, blessing, guidance, clarity, down through your feet into the earth, grounding you in the earth. And breathe up that solid, rooted, comforting energy of the earth into the center of your being. And be aware of being in that state of connected flow. Just take an extra moment and feel the significance and just the deep healing power and value of this state of connected flow, this stillness. And now in the think about it step, allow yourself to kind of feel the washing over of Mary's story in this moment and how it was sort of a life, told in short, but with so much love, and allow yourself to feel a sense of your own life, your own seeing, some of the things that are like of essence to you. And see if you can kind of tune into what is your way of seeing and being that you feel is kind of like most primary to you. Whatever that might mean to you, what's your way of a perspective you often have that you come back to, something that lifts you up, a way. What's your way? In story, I'm always saying an in-story way is finally doing things your way. Just for this moment, what feels like your way? And let whatever comes to you about it kind of be there. Just notice what that is. I was going to just gather a story, but let's do one thing before that. In the ask and trust step, just ask, what is an image or a metaphor that's just right for me in this moment that really holds the key to what is my way? What's an image or a metaphor for your way of being, your soul's essence in this moment? Maybe you'll get a different one another moment. But just ask and trust the first thing that comes to you, whether that's an image, an idea, a memory, whatever it is. Trust the first thing that comes to you when you ask, what is an image or a metaphor for my way, my soul, my essence in this moment? It's just right for me in this moment. And you always trust the first thing you get, no matter what it is, because this is part of how you kind of get past what I like to call the try harder mind, or your resistance or your ego. To trust whatever you get. And the last step is always explain or interpret. What does it seem to be about? What does it mean? What's its message to you? What does it feel like it's saying? What about it seems true? And just trust whatever you get, no matter what it is. And I was going to originally have everyone gather a story. So just for a moment, put your image sort of on the inner, so to speak, shelf of your consciousness, just the title of the image, what it is, and just save that for a moment. And then just ask, what is a story that's just right for this moment? What is a story connected to the way I see things in the world, to who I am, to something in my essence? And then just breathe yourself back into your life until you bump into a story. Maybe it's a memory story that you've experienced. Maybe it's a story that you read over and over that you loved. Trust whatever story comes to you first. And trust whatever it is. And notice if you're in the story, usually asks as if you're in it, but you might get a different kind of story. But where are you in the story? Where is this story happening? How old are you if you're the one in it? What's happening? Who else is there? How are you feeling? What do you want? Can you tell how the other people are feeling or what they want? What else can you notice? Are there sights, sounds, smells, tastes, textures? Look all around inside this story, and when you've seen all there is to see, give this story a name. This is the such and such story. And then just notice your image that you got and your story, and if there's any connection. And then just begin to bring yourself back into the moment. Whenever you're ready, begin to breathe yourself back into this moment. When you're ready, I'm going to stretch your arms a little bit, just bring yourself back in to the moment. And when you come back and you open up your eyes, then take a moment, write down what was your image. Just take a moment and write what was your image. And what was the title of your story? And now we're gonna do 3 rooms, and the people in Renee Michelle's room will just stay on, and the people, and then the other people you'll get called into a room.
Carol's back.
Yay, Carol. So we did a guided process to find an image or a metaphor that is like sort of like your way. What is your way of being, your way of seeing? We did an image or metaphor, and then we just did a story that comes to you. So as you listen, you can be the last one to share in your group, and you can listen to what everybody shares, and then you can, and then something will come to you as you are thinking about it. Okay? Sorry about that. Usually going off and coming in is the great solution. So,
yeah, my whole system was down. So
I
know. had to correct the whole system. So I'm here.
Yeah, I know. Some days are just like that. Yeah. Okay. So I think, let's see. I'm just trying to set up room. So what you should do while I'm doing that is just write down whatever you want to write. And I'm almost done doing this. Let's see. Okay, 1 second. Okay. All right. I think that worked. So I'm going to open up the rooms. I do have to leave right on time, so I am going to call you back, like at 3:20, at 25 after the hour. So but everyone will get a little chance to share. Oh, and wait, before I open the rooms, 1 second, I have to do one more thing. I need to make Diane co-host so she can record. Okay. We can do this. We're good. All right. Now I need to get back into here. All right. Have fun in your rooms. Okay. There we are. Welcome back, everybody. And did Mary make it back? Mary, they're making it back little by little with their pictures. My system, I don't know if it's my system here, but it's a little slower than normal. But Mary was about to say something to us, and I was like, okay, maybe it's something she wants to share with everybody. So
yeah, I just want to say one thing. I did something to my eye, so I couldn't see or move my eyeball, which was crazy. But I wanted to say, while I was in my vehicle, paying the bills, making phone calls, doing all the stuff, I used it as an office because the sunlight was I had sunglasses on, but I could read, and I had to do like 5 or 6 things, but I couldn't read in the house. There's not enough brightness. So it was interesting. And I said, why am I always in my car? Like, I'm always in my car. And I do love the capsule of that space. Like, nobody outside is entering in, and I have this space, and I could talk to myself, and people think I'm on the phone. But I just want to mention one more thing, because some of you said you didn't know me very well, but I do want to say that some of you know I'm caregiving for my father right now. And I just wanted to clarify, I thought this might be weird, but my adopted parents passed away. And just a few years later, I got a call from some guy, and he said he was my birth brother. And so I met my birth family Valentine's Day 2001. So I met some people, and then I took care of my birth aunt, uncle, and my birth mother had dementia. She passed away. So 10, 11, and then my father is the last of the birth family.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So
Oh, Mary.
I just wanted to clarify, if anybody, when you're like later on, you're like, isn't she taking care of her dad? Like, because I'm the trustee of all his financials, and I'm managing his life for him because he has a 5-second memory retention, but I pretend that he is so independent and he's doing it all by himself, and he lives alone.
But you really live in the house too, right?
Yeah, but I come and go so much, I come and go, and he sleeps a lot. And so he doesn't really know anybody lives with him, because the doctor said, you need someone to move in. And he goes, oh, I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself. And so I said, well, but I'll just come by and visit. So that's
wow, Mary.
that's the agreement that we have. I'll come by and check in on him and maybe make him a meal once in a while. So
Wow.
it's funny, and I am living a interesting story for sure.
Yeah. Because look, leaving this world is not an easy thing to do. It's I don't know, it's a kindness that you have a big enough heart to do. It's not a small thing. So it is an honor. It's really, as I said, it's always an honor to hear each other's stories. And, as I said to Mary in our group, I just bless you that you could feel this love and grace and ease that you create through all adversity, that you don't need any more adversity in order to learn the lesson. That may you have grace and ease and flow in your inner and outer realms. So we will all send you that energy. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And Karen, we're excited for you to be on for next week. And we're going to keep going. We have Renee Michelle, then we're going to cycle back. And Leslie, who did a guided process, is going to do a story. So Paul, if you want to do that, Denise, if you start to feel inspired and you want to work on something before the summit comes around, just let me know. We have the retreat on the 17th. Anything else, Diane? Looked like you were going to say something.
Carol didn't get a chance to give feedback.
She did, because I put her in the small group with Mary. I don't even know how I was that smart, but somehow I managed to do that.
Okay.
I kind of thought of it ahead of it. So it all worked out. So have a wonderful week, everybody. And I will see you. Either I'll be here or I might be at my brother and sister-in-laws we're going to visit.
I want to hear about your grandbaby. One little sentence.
She's adorable. Her name is Phoebe Maya. She's 4 months old. She's as cute as she can be. And Kai is just as fun as ever. My grandson, who's 3, will be 4 in June. I'll post a couple pictures in the Facebook group for you.
Good.
So it's really a delight to see them. It's been a while. So
that's good.
And here I figured out how to do this too. Isn't that amazing?
Nice.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.